Oops. It's almost too bad that that recording didn't start before now, because it would have seen all these happy people dancing at 501 Nelson Street. What a joy. What a wondrous opportunity. And we do have an opening song, and I think that song is going to start right now. And then we'll have our official welcome.
God is listening to you. The angels are listening to you too. I am listening to you. The universe is listening to you. To listen is to love. To listen is to care. To listen is to share. You know life really loves you. So open up your heart and share the vibration of you. Ask for help and ask for support. And ask for grace, and be sure to ask for strength. You don't have to do this all alone anymore. You don't have to be afraid. You see, the Lord is with you, beaming through your heart. So open up your heart and ask for what you need. Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Uriel, Sandalphon, Metatron are with you. Saint Bernadette, Christ's holy love, lives within.
Welcome to Unity of London with that wonderful introduction from Reverend Dr. Paul Luftenegger. We welcome all those who are online as well as those in person here at 501 Nelson Street. We welcome you because you made the effort to be here, whether you're here in person or online, and because you are investing in your own spiritual development. We have a mission and a vision here at Unity of London. Our vision, a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Does that resonate with you? Does that make you feel that you are part of a movement that is in fact transforming the world? Our mission is connected with that. And our mission is to co-create with Spirit. Co-creating with Spirit to transform lives through our shared spiritual awakening and their shared spiritual awakening. And if you look around, you'll see different shapes, different sizes, different ages, and that's all of us. We're all different, and together we celebrate. We're all different, and yet we're all linked together with a common goal to transform our world, to transform ourselves. We always encourage self-expression, and that doesn't mean we're asking people to express themselves the way we do. Self-expression, the spontaneity of recognizing uniqueness in every individual. And as we serve others, we bring meaning and purpose to their lives and our lives. Here at Unity, and at Unity all over the world, we have 5 principles. The first is that God is absolute good and everywhere present in everyone, as everyone, always present, 24 hours a day. That human beings have a spark of divinity, the Christ spirit within, that is all human beings. Everyone you meet has a spark of divinity within. And we believe that because it's one of our unity principles. That prayer is creative thinking. The creative thinking that heightens our connection with God and with all beings. And those of us who are in daily prayer and meditation 5 days a week understand that in connecting with each other, we're connecting with Spirit through prayer. Knowing and understanding the law of life, also called truth, is not enough. We need to live it. We need to put it into action. And perhaps that's the hardest part, but the logical part, the part that flows. We invite you to be the change. Wherever you are, whoever you are, be the change in our world that transforms our world. Are you ready to accept that invitation? Not here, but out there. And somebody's nodding. I'm so happy to see that. I hope on Zoom you're also nodding and saying, yes, I am willing to be the change. We coexist. We coexist in divine spirit, in divine energy. There are announcements today. Yes. Here comes Lorraine. Lorraine's coming from the back. I think she might have an announcement. I'm not sure.
Pauline, thanks. I just wanted to share that many of us were at the concert this past Wednesday night, and it was absolutely wonderful. We had the pleasure of listening to that very first song that we had as well. He did perform that for us live. I also wanted to let you know that our share of the proceeds for Wednesday night were $325.
That was our president, Lorraine De Silva, president of Unity of London. Yay, Lorraine. Also the invisible presence that you on Zoom don't see, but we who are on the platform do see. And without her, we would be zonkered, out of luck. I don't know if you've been following our dear Amber Needham and Mike Russo on Facebook, but they are doing wonders. And they are riding their tandem bike. They continue to ride. And I said to Dan, who rides his bike, what is it like to ride 60 kilometers in 3 hours? He said, that's pretty good. And I know that they are going uphill and that our own dear George is one of their drivers right now. And that Larry Bro is a driver. So Amber Needham and Mike Russo. And if you are online or if you're watching this, they are riding their tandem bike across Ontario, not just for fun. It's to raise funds for stem cell research. And there was a big write-up in, I think, the Peterborough Chronicle about Amber. And the title was something like, Blind Woman Rides Tandem to Raise Funds for Stem Cell Research. So please continue to support. Our prayer chaplains today will be Wilda online and our own Dawn Briglio here in person. We have an opportunity here at London to, and everywhere, and you don't have to be a member of Unity, to pray through silent unity. If you have any wishes, any concerns, any desires, you can go online 24 hours a day. Now pray. 1-800-NOW-PRAY. We also have little papers in front of our beautiful chest down in this table. And if you have somebody you wish to hold in prayer, just write their first name, and that will be sent on to Silent Unity. We now are about to go into prayer. I invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. To breathe in. Breathe in the loving energy that surrounds us and you. Breathe in all the goodness, all the kindness, all the generosity in our world. Just absorb that. Feel that loving, light-filled energy go through your whole body. We hold in prayer this week, this month, Unity Spiritual Center, Windsor, and Unity of Halton Peel. We also hold in affirmation with love and gratitude Reverend Dr. Paul Luftenegger as he embarks on his European tour, spreading love throughout the world. We hold in prayer all of your intentions, and I invite you now to whisper the names of anyone you wish to hold in prayer. We send out loving energy today, loving affirmations to all health caregivers, those who are working in hospitals. This includes the cleaners, the cooks, the porters, as well as the nurses and doctors, the greeters at the front door, the ambulance drivers, all who are supporting and dedicating their lives to the health of others. We also hold in prayer all those who give listening skills to those who call in, our counselors online, who listen with patience and love. We hold in prayer all of our homeless people, both in the city of London, in Manitoulin, and everywhere throughout the world, that they be treated with dignity and respect, that they be given opportunities to have a home, to have food, to have clothing, most of all, to have respect. Everywhere in the world right now, there are spiritual gatherings. People of all different faiths. We all unite in prayer. Amen. It's my pleasure now to introduce our platform assistant for the day, Peggy Matzer. Peggy.
Is that working? Yeah, it is. Sorry, it wasn't on green. Today's daily words: let go, let God. I bless myself when I let go and let God. If I find myself ruminating over a concern or a weighty decision, I release its grip on my attention by letting go and letting God. When I let go, I am placing my trust in divine mind, the source of infinite potential. I believe there are solutions and remedies of which my limited human mind simply cannot conceive. When I let God, I am trusting the grace of God will bless my life in the most wondrous and even surprising ways. Letting go and letting God is how I live my faith. I surrender to spiritual truth, the presence and power of God, and believe the best outcome is going to be so much better than anything I can imagine. I affirm, I let go and let God and relax into knowing I am deeply loved and abundantly blessed. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. John 14, verse 1. And now in my turn, it is my pleasure to introduce to you today's speaker, a man who has graced this platform on many occasions and who is familiar to most of our congregation. Tony Orvidas is a lifelong student and teacher of spirituality, metaphysics, and abundance manifestation, an experienced mentor, speaker, and trainer, and the author of Using the Law of Attraction. He is also the developer of the Abundance Together blog and has been an active member of Unity of London since 2012. Today, Tony is here to tell us about our extrasensory abilities. Who knew? Please welcome Tony Orvidas.
Thank you, Peggy. And good morning, Unity of London. It's great to be back. Okay, the title of my message is Your Psychic Awakening. Today, I'll talk to you about your extrasensory abilities, ESP, the paranormal. That is the psychic senses beyond your typical physical senses. You know what those physical senses are, right? There's the 5 basic ones: vision, hearing, smell, taste, touch. Some experts have also added mechanoreception, or balance, proprioreception, the body sense which helps with knowing where a particular body part of yours is without looking at it, and interoreception, the perception of sensations from inside the body. For example, heart rate, respiration, bladder stretch, which comes in handy to remind you to get up and use the toilet in the middle of the night so you don't wet the bed. But let's get back to the psychic senses. So there I was in a rush to get to an appointment. I was going to be donating blood. And by the way, they have a real need for blood right now, particularly because of COVID. A lot of people are not donating anymore. So if you get a chance, get out there. Okay, that's my plug for that. Anyway, I always brought a magazine or book with me to help pass the time. So I looked at the pile of books that I had not yet read. You see, my wife Bonnie and I have a shelf for books of common interest that neither of us has read, another for books that both have read that we'll pass on to friends and family, a third one for books we'll keep for ourselves to maybe reread someday, a fourth for books that I've read that Bonnie had yet to read, a fifth for books that Bonnie had read that I plan to read, and finally, one for books that I will read that I know Bonnie's not interested in, things such as, heavy spiritual stuff, sci-fi, horror, fantasy, Stephen King, for example, and the like. Anyway, I went to the last shelf and I grabbed a thin tome that I could easily carry with me without really glancing at the title. When I got to my blood appointment, I looked at it, did not recall ever having seen it before. I didn't know where I got it or who from or when. It was a brand new book, not like the many used ones that I order online or pick up at a used bookshop or Unity bookstore, to save a few bucks and participate in the reduce, reuse, and recycle movement. So I opened it and started to read it. Once I got home, I finished it and decided it would be my primary source for today's message. It was like the universe had chosen it for me. Anything like that ever happened to you? Yeah, books falling off a shelf or whatever. The book is called Psychic Awakening, A Beginner's Guide to Developing Your Intuitive Psychic Abilities by Harlow Wolf, a renowned psychic and medium. In his preface, Harlow asks us, have you ever known that you were about to get a phone call before the phone rang? Had a dream that a loved one was in trouble and later found out that it was true? Met someone new and instantly had a bad feeling about them? We're all born with psychic abilities, he says, and like abilities, we can make them stronger through practice. And in his book, he attempts to show us how. Now, according to Truth Unity, the metaphysical meaning of psychic is pertaining to mental powers not common to ordinary man. Mental powers outreaching the scope of the physical man. Now, I'm sure many of you are familiar with psychic phenomena. If you are, raise your hands. Yeah, pretty well everybody. Some of you are much more knowledgeable than I am about the subject and are regular practitioners, people who regularly use their intuitive psychic abilities. Me, I find it difficult to relate to some of them and have not been very successful, regretfully, in developing or employing them. I'm also a perpetual skeptic, but there have been a few instances in my life that gave me pause. For example, I was drowning as a kid, and just before I got pulled out of the water, I recall seeing all kinds of beautiful things all around me. I remember praying to Saint Anthony of Padua, the patron saint of lost things, when I had misplaced something. And strange to tell, these missing items always seemed to appear after my prayers in places I swear I had looked for them before. Finding out that my closest friend from university was reading the exact same book that I was at the same time, a book that was gifted to me by a cousin of mine out of the blue. My wife, Bonnie, being visited by her grandmother's spirit. I missed a couple things. At the same time as grandma was transitioning hundreds of miles away. And by the way, Bonnie's had a number of other interesting experiences with angels. So on a scale of 1 to 5, what's the level of your psychic belief? 1 being it's horse crunch, up to 5, totally into it. Raise your hand as I call the number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 and 5 have it. Interesting. Now, according to many religious beliefs, anything related to psychic phenomena is considered the work of the devil. It's evil. However, according to Unity's Charles and Cora Fillmore in their book, Teach Us to Pray, we read this. We should not think of the psychic realm as evil or be afraid of it. Through our own Christ dominion, we develop spiritual powers to handle the psychic realm to our great advantage. This is a realm in which tremendous forces are present and is being discovered by the investigations of physical science. The first step of a true student, like us, in handling the psychic forces of consciousness is the same as that in handling any other, and that is to realize that God is the one and only power. If man would become expert in handling scientifically the psychic forces, they said, he should first get a thorough understanding of just what those forces are. And above all, he should know that, like the other forces, they are subservient to God's law. Eric Butterworth was a best-selling author, Unity minister, radio personality. In Antecedents of New Thought, Eric wrote, now, there are those, I'm sure, who would tend offhand to put down all psychic phenomena. I have a feeling, however, that most persons have had, at some time in their life, something that normally would be referred to as a psychic experience. For the person who either has never had any or who refuses to at least own up to it, there is an illustration, I think, that is quite valid. At a reasonable distance from a piano, if a tuning fork is struck sounding an A, the A string on the piano will suddenly vibrate. I'm sure many of you have seen a simple demonstration, maybe in high school physics class. Now, can you imagine the other 87 strings of the piano refusing to believe in the existence of the tuning fork because they themselves did not vibrate? I think this suggests that there are times a person may have had some sort of psychic experience or may have seen something that no one else sees, hears, feels. We may say, well, I didn't see it, so it didn't occur, but we're talking about vibrations. We're talking about things that happen in the consciousness of the person. Obviously, there's a need for a great deal of objectivity, a great need for open-mindedness. He goes on to say, these so-called extra senses, which are looked at so often as special gifts that some people have and that you can develop, like learning how to play the piano, are actually a part of our whole makeup. I think it's at this point where psychic involvement so often tends to lose a very important turn. In other words, there is no such thing as extrasensory perception, except that we have so accustomed ourselves to seeing in a limited frame of reference that any larger seeing would make things miraculous. The extra senses are part of the whole person. They're functions of our own mind. I think it's important that we see that. For instance, there is no such thing as paranormal, except that we've had a very limited view of what is normal. So, Eric said, the terms extrasensory and paranormal are terms that perhaps are necessary for a theologian with a boxed-in theology or a physicist who has a kind of mechanical concept of the universe. He has to have something to describe and relate to that which is all beyond this, which he can't fit in. But when one becomes a student of metaphysics, and breaks out of the box, then he should lose this kind of identification of the paranormal, the extrasensory, and see it as all an expression of an orderly universe. So let's now investigate this realm of innate, extrasensory, psychic talents. Let's briefly review some of them. I'll go through them alphabetically. Let's start with astral projection, an intentional out-of-body experience. The subtle body, called the astral body, is a consciousness that can function separately from the physical body and travels throughout the astral plane. It's been reported there is a golden or silver-colored cord that connects the astral body to the physical self during its travels. Auras, the unseen field of energy surrounding a person's physical or subtle body. The colors are affected by our mood, our emotional state, our physical, mental, spiritual well-being. We apparently lose our natural ability to detect auras as we get older, so it takes practice. Automatic writing, also called psychography. It's a psychic ability to allow a person to produce written words without consciously writing. The phenomenon may occur when the subject is in an alert waking state or in a hypnotic trance. The Conversations with God series, for example, by Neil Donald Walsh, was supposedly created through automatic writing. Channeling, entering a meditative or trance-like state in order to convey messages from or communicate with the spiritual realm, metaphysical energy, or a spiritual entity. Notable channels are J.C. Knight, who channeled the spirit of Ramtha, Jane Roberts for Seth, Esther Hicks for Abraham. Some of us are studying the Way of Mastery series, which is Yeshua or Jesus channeled through JM. Then there's the four clairs. Clairaudience, receiving as if by hearing what is inaudible, the power to hear sounds that exist beyond the reach of ordinary experience or capacity, such as voices of the dead. Claircognizance, the ability of a person to acquire psychic knowledge without knowing how or why they knew it. It's when our brains get an immediate download from our intuition, just like when you download a large amount of information into your computer's hard drive. Clairsentience, intuiting information through clear feeling rather than experiencing audio or video. The ability we don't even realize we have to feel, to sense the energy of spirit. Clairvoyance, also known as clear seeing or second sight. It's a form of extrasensory perception, whereby a person receives information in the form of a vision about future events before they happen, called precognition, or about things or events at distant locations, remote seeing or remote viewing. Have any of you ever experienced any of those four clairs? A little bit, yeah. Divination and prediction, gaining psychic information about the future or the past. You can use various tools like tarot or oracle cards, crystals, scrying mirrors, crystal balls, pendulums. You could employ numerology, I Ching, essential oils, various signs and signals, opening a book at a random page. I do that regularly. Animal messages, astrology, reading of stones, bones, tea leaves, palms, coins, Norse runes, Celtic ogham staves, or even entrails. I've tried a number of those tools, not including the entrails. Have you? Dowsing, a type of divination employed in attempts to locate groundwater, buried metals or ores, gemstones, oil, vortexes and radiations, grave sites, many other objects and materials without the use of scientific apparatus. Typically, the person that is dowsing holds sticks or rods which will dip, twitch, or cross when she walks over what she's looking for. Dreams. We receive telepathic messages, signs, and signals in our dreams. because we are at a higher vibrational frequency when we're dreaming. We lose our identification with the mind and the body. Our resistance lowers, and we no longer try to control things like we do in daily life. Information just flows to us. Intuition, the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning, a gut feeling, a hunch, an inner voice. Einstein thought very highly of it. We've all experienced intuition to one degree or another, right? Yeah. Mediumship, the practice of mediating communication between familiar spirits or spirits of the dead and living human beings. There are different types of mediumship or spirit channeling, including seance tables, trance, even our Ouija board. Psychokinesis or telekinesis, bending spoons with your mind, maybe? The psychic ability allowing a person to influence a physical system without physical interaction, moving things around. The power to manipulate or otherwise interact with objects or matter without physical means. Psychometry, also known as token object reading or psychoscopy. It is a form of extrasensory perception characterized by the ability to make relevant associations from an object of unknown history by making physical contact with that object. An object supposedly has an energy field that transfers knowledge regarding that object's history. Spirit guides and angels, ascended masters, spirit animals. Communication with the spirit world, with etheric, energetic beings, with entities that remain as discarnate or bodiless spirits who act as guides, guardians, or protectors to living, incarnated human beings. That's us. Spiritual healing, including intercessory prayer or distant faith or psychic healing. This healing is natural and non-invasive with the intention of bringing the recipient into a state of balance and well-being at all levels. It promotes self-healing by relaxing the body, releasing tensions, and strengthening the body's own immune system. The healing involves the transfer of energy. In other words, it is not from the healer, him or herself, but the healer links with universal or divine energy to channel healing for the mind, body, and spirit. It includes therapeutic touch, Reiki, pranic healing, and finally, telepathy. Communicating with someone else and receiving or sending messages through thoughts or feelings. The transmission of information from one person's mind to another's without any known human sensory channels or physical interaction occurring. This is the psychic skill most people want to develop, but according to our author Harlow Wolf, is the most difficult. Developing psychic talents is like learning to walk, he says. We apparently all have the potential, and the more attention we place on the subject, the greater our awareness will become. It takes time and practice, however. One of the best ways to develop your telepathic and other psychic abilities is to meditate, since meditation teaches you how to focus your mind. You slow down your mental activity so that you have space to work on your extrasensory powers. In closing, our author notes that we need to be consistent and persistent in our psychic practice, and that we should journal our successes and lack thereof daily without fail. We just need to continue practicing. And with that, dear psychics, let us go into our meditation. The guided portion is based on a reading from the Daily Word. So sit back, relax, get comfortable, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and then exhale slowly. Let my words be yours. I seek and find guidance deep within my heart. Seeking direction from outside myself can be helpful, but It's no match for the divine guidance I discern from within. I turn my attention to my heart, where I access my psychic abilities, my intuition, my inner wisdom and guidance through the power of the Spirit within. I discover all the wisdom I need through my interconnection with the divine. Deep within my heart, I find a knowing that comes from oneness with the source. The influences in my life will always come and go, but the guiding light in my heart will never dim and cannot be extinguished. I trust my ability to connect with my heart's intuition, and I know that when I follow the guidance I discover within, I am never led astray. I now take a few minutes to listen to my intuition and to focus on my innate psychic abilities. I gradually come back to my world of physical sensory awareness. I and those around me are one in psychic awakening, one with divine light and delight. And so it is. Amen.
We thank Tony for a fascinating talk that I'm sure piqued the interest of many and may cause some of us or many of us to go and do some further seeking. Thank you, Tony, for that intriguing message about psychic ability.
I have a dream of what I wanna be. I wanna be free. That's what my heart keeps telling me. Give me your hand.
We'll find a way.
There's people out there
They feel the same.
if we help each other. I just know we can succeed. We are one, but we are different. We from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same oceans. We are every boy and girl. Come together and share our dreams. We'll be amongst the stars, and we know that it's destiny. And we are unity. We are unity.
I do believe, oh, I believe in destiny. It's up to me to make it into reality.
Give me your hand.
We'll find a way
People out there,
that feel the same.
if we help each other,
I just know we can succeed.
we are one, but we are different. We from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same oceans. We are every boy and girl. Come together and share our dreams. We'll be amongst the stars, and we know that it's destiny. That we are unity. No matter where you're from or who you are, if we can find common place to be, then we are friends. We are one, but we are different. We from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same oceans. Oh. We are one, but we are different. We're from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same oceans. We are every boy and girl. Come together and share our dreams. We'll be amongst the stars, and we know that it's destiny. That we are unity. We are unity.
Isn't that a wondrous song? Makes us feel totally connected. We now all have our greetings at greeters and gift gatherers at Unity of London bringing up our gifts. And we want you to know how much we appreciate everything you share, your time, your energy, your volunteering, and the gifts that you bring now. We honor our many members who share talent, time, and abundance. And we offer a blessing now. To all of you who have shared today, who will share in the future and have shared in the past, we send our divine presence, love, and our deep gratitude. And so it is. Amen. I invite those who are here at Unity 501 Nelson Street and those online to share this message out loud. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love. The power of God protects me. I am the power. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And Unity of London says, yay, God. And now our peace song. You online couldn't see that, but I could. And this was all of our people at 501 Nelson. And we started to do this, and it's so gratifying. And everybody gathers in a circle. We sing the song together, and at the end, everyone raises their hands. What a unifying gesture of peace. We hope that everyone, well, we invite you to have a great day. And I invite anyone who has any gestures of appreciation or questions for Tony to come on up if you're here in person, or if you're online, just to ask a question.